Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJ Trip, and this is a special top 10 list. This is not a top 10 list where I go from 10 to 1 talking about, anything where I'm ranking. I'm not doing a ranking list. This is just a top 10 list. This is not in any particular order and nothing like that. These are just things that I want to see happen in professional wrestling in the year 2020, this year. So, with all that being said, let's go ahead and let's start the list. So let's start with Roman Reigns winning the Universal or the WWE Championship, but him not beating the Fiend or Lesnar for it. I think they've done a great job keeping Roman Reigns away from the title picture when he came back from his leukemia diagnosis, and I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. He's getting mostly positive receptions. Every now and then you will hear maybe some boos here and there, but he's getting a positive reception. He's getting the reception that you would want your top babyface to get. However, because people are so into the Fiend that you don't want him beating the Fiend and winning the Universal Championship from him, um, and then having it once again saying, well, now they're just trying to do the whole, push Roman Reigns down our throat thing. Everything they done with the Fiend was just so that Roman Reigns can beat him, and so and you don't want to ruin the goodwill that you've already set. As for defeating Lesnar for like the WWE Championship, while it probably wouldn't be on that level to the point to where they would say, "Hey, um, you know, like some of the Fiend where say, hey, we need to boo Roman because I don't, as much as I don't like Lesnar, I don't want Roman to beat Lesnar for it." Um, they probably would cheer that Reigns beating Lesnar. Um, you just don't want to take that risk. You don't want a repeat of WrestleMania 34 to happen where the crowd is just shitting all over the match because they don't want to see Roman and Lesnar. So you just don't want that replay to happen. So yeah, I want Roman Reigns to be the Universal Champion. I want him to be the WWE Champion this year. I think obviously he deserves it, and he is still the guy, even though they went down the Seth Rollins route. I think he still is the man, WWE, the main man. But I think you got to find another way to do it. Another thing I want to see this year is a Roman Reigns 5-star match. Now Roman Reigns was a part of that 10-man Survivor Series match a couple years ago when Dean was on SmackDown and Rollins and Reigns were on Raw, and that was the match that Shane McMahon got concussed. That was a 5-star match, but I'm talking about like a singles match, Roman Reigns versus somebody else, and they go all out and they have a 5-star match. Because I think and he doesn't need that. He doesn't need a 5-star match to prove how good he is in the ring and something like that. But I personally just like to see that for him because I do think he doesn't get the credit he deserves. Part of this whole Roman Reigns ridiculousness of hate is that they say that he's a bad wrestler. He's not. He's a very good wrestler, even maybe on the lines to great wrestler. Um, but I think that he doesn't get the due that he deserves just because they were all in on the hate for him. Um, so I would like to see Roman Reigns get a 5-star match this year. I don't know if that really would happen because I think WWE does the one thing that WWE does do is that they put their matches so that it's almost as if that is exactly what it's there for. It's not there to well, at least the most of the matches are not there to try to give you a 5-star match. They're there to tell the story or something like that. So I can understand that, and that's the way it should be. The matches should not be a 5-star. You shouldn't try to go out there to have a 5-star match. I think that is one of the things that will probably kill AEW in the long run. Is that they're not going out there trying to tell stories very much. They're just out there trying to get 5-star matches from 5-star ratings from people online and Dave Meltzer and all those guys. Um, so I just think that's what it probably is going to hurt them in the long run. Maybe not kill them, but it's going to hurt them in the long run. And that's only going to continue WWE to keep doing that thing because they just go out there, they try to continue on with the story. But I think this one is I think this one I really would like to see. I hope they can get to the point where it does happen. I don't know if it will or not. Next on my list, seems like it's not going to happen. As there's been recent rumors of that they're taking the NXT involvement out of the Royal Rumble. But I was hoping that Keith Lee would win the Royal Rumble and wrestle Adam Cole at WrestleMania. Now I know that Keith Lee has a match tomorrow night on NXT for the North American title, but I didn't necessarily expect him to win it. I was hoping with the stuff that they were doing with Keith Lee, they would lead up to a possible Keith Lee Adam Cole match. That doesn't. It still could be Keith Lee Adam Cole, but I don't think it's going to be at WrestleMania, and I don't think it's going to be because Keith Lee wins the Royal Rumble, unfortunately. So, but I think Keith Lee's been on a hell of a roll. He's had that ever since he's had that spot with Roman and Seth Rollins at Survivor Series. He's just been on an incredible run, and he's delivered some great performances. And the big man has just shown that he's getting most of it. I think he's getting most of it. I think he may need to work on his promo delivery a little bit, just for my taste. But I think all in all, he is doing very good at this. I want to see the Revival versus the young what a fraudulent slip. The Revival versus the Young Bucks in a 2 out of 3 falls match. There's no doubt about it that the Revival this year are probably going to leave WWE and head to AEW. And that should be the very first program you do. You put them in a match with the Young Bucks. And that leads to, a matches upon matches, which leads to a 2 out of 3 falls match between the Revival and the Young Bucks. You can even make it 3 stages of hell. Anything. I do think, as much as I am not a fan of the Young Bucks, and it is very interesting. My thoughts the um, on the people over at AEW. It's like I love Cody, and I love Cody, and I love a lot. I love the MJF stuff. I'm loving what Hangman Page is bringing. Um, but I can't get into Kenny Omega very much. I don't think he, the facial expressions, everything like that, it just takes me out of it with him. And the Young Bucks, I just don't see I don't see, and maybe it is because I am a Jim Cornette, guy. I'm a member of the Cult of Cornette, and we see wrestling along the lines most of the time. Sometimes I think he goes overboard with this, uneffusive hatred for some stuff. Sometimes I think he's right on point, and I think he has some points for the Young Bucks. I just don't. I don't see them as you know as something special. I think that they do good stuff in the ring, but I don't think they're special. I don't think they are who they should be. Really, I don't really. I say I'll put it out like that. I don't know if they are who they should be. That being said, I have to take notice of what's happening, and they are, you know, they are the main tag team in AEW, and the Revival coming in, and they had that online beef a few years ago, or whatever it was, whether it was beef, kayfabe, or real. But this could bring into it and then there was that one time when the Revival had some stuff going on, um later. And so it's, you know, and sometimes with the revival, and then one of the Young Bucks went on Twitter and said, "Don't worry, everybody, you'll get the Young Bucks revival match one day." And so I think one day that day is gonna be later on this year, and I would like to see them go 2 out of 3 falls. But the 2 out of 3 falls match they had with DIY was incredible, and I think the match they could have with the Young Bucks could, could rival that. I want to see 1 hour Iron Man matches return. I don't want to. I don't want to have Iron Man matches that are 30 minutes. You can't tell a good story with a 30-minute Iron Man match. You just can't. These Iron Man matches need to be an hour. They really do. Especially when, like, because unless you're gonna do the Brock Lesnar Kurt Angle Iron Man match thing where you get a disqualification, lose a fall on a disqualification, to pick up maybe 2 or even 3 falls within the next few minutes, you know, no, you're not just not gonna get, you're not gonna, because like the Iron Man match that Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler had, there were 11 falls, I believe, correctly, correct, something like that. There was like 9 or 11 falls, including a little bit of overtime, I believe. It was like 9 or 11 falls in that match, and it just made no sense, you know. So if you're gonna have 9 or 11 falls, you have to have it in a 1 hour Iron Man match. That's what it needs to be. And even then, that shouldn't be the case because a 1 hour Iron Man match should, an Iron Man match should probably have maybe somewhere between 5 and 7 falls, right? That's what I would say. Have somewhere between 5 and 7, and maybe you do like a double count out, or you do a disqualification story, or do something. But the half-hour Iron Man matches they're not conducive to telling a good story. They're really not. Especially if you're gonna do like multiple falls. If you're gonna do an hour and half an hour Iron Man match, it should probably it should probably be like a 2-1 victory. That's what it should be. And but even then, I still don't want to see it. I want to have the 1 hour Iron Man matches. Even if you need to make them no disqualifications because you're worried about, keeping the people's interest. Okay, make it a no disqualification match, but just do something so that it's still a 1 hour Iron Man match. That's what it's supposed to be. Or otherwise, just do 2 out of 3 falls matches. I would like to see Undertaker, Kane, Big Show, and many others in WWE, and also maybe even AEW, to finally retire. It's not because that I'm tired of seeing them. It's not because that I have any hatred towards them or anything like that. But I do think that it's time to stop. It's time to leave them in the past. And already in 2020 we've seen the Big Show and Kane come back. You know, and I have no problem with that. Especially, Kane's a mayor, so Kane he needs to worry about continuing to being the mayor of Knox County. Big Show, he unfortunately he got into great shape at the very end of his career. If he could have got into great shape, you know, early in his career, even a decade ago, right? Even a decade ago, that would have been awesome. That would have been awesome because he probably wouldn't have been able to have an actual another run with one of the championships if it was a decade ago. But it was just too little, too late, and I really kind of think that it's now time for him to go. And as for the Undertaker, listen, it kind of this is the main one because they bring out this guy for almost every freaking thing, and it is. I know, and I know he's probably hurting, and he's. No, he said on the Steve Austin thing that he's got a lot more to go, a lot more to give too. He can, he got a couple more in him, but to me, I don't think that's the case. I think it's probably should be just, he probably just needs to maybe have one or two more matches this year and finally, be ended. And really it should have ended with Roman Reigns, right? It should have ended with Roman Reigns, but I'm not sure why they brought him back. After that, I'm not sure why if he wanted to come back. After that, because that was a perfect. I know the match wasn't probably what the match he wanted it to be, but uh, he put over the new big dog, the new dog who runs the yard. So, um, I think that's the way it should have been, and that's the way it should have left it. But yeah, I think Undertaker and Kane and Big Show and maybe even Triple H, especially Triple H. There's no need for him to wrestle anymore. They probably all should probably retire finally this year. So how about a year-long build for WrestleMania? Now there are already rumors that WrestleMania 37 is going to happen in the new stadium of the Los Angeles Rams and Chargers. That's a 100,000 seat stadium and legitimate, and that will be something where they can legitimately get 110,000, breaking all types of records. They wouldn't have to fudge anything when it comes to the stadium. So they wouldn't have to fudge any records. They could legitimately get 110,000 in that stadium and break the indoor attendance record. Um, but with that being said, um, they should really do have a year-long build for WrestleMania 37. Now, some might say that if the rumors are true and Ronda Rousey is is coming back, then they did a year-long build for WrestleMania 36. But I would disagree with that because Ronda went off to try and get pregnant. She even called it the impregnation vacation. You know, because she wants to have a child. But there's no build to that. If she's only coming back as if she doesn't have a child, you know, and she's only coming back, for that reason. That's not. They need to do something. They need to, whether it's a man or a woman or even both. They need to focus on something and have it start at WrestleMania or a couple nights after a couple of shows after WrestleMania, and start the build for WrestleMania 37. And I'm also not talking about like the John Cena The Rock build where The Rock's not on television. He's out doing these movies. I'm not talking about something like that where, okay, Undertaker's going to retire at 37, so he's going to face The Fiend, and they're going to doing things with The Fiend or something like that. No, I'm talking about something where weekly, monthly, whatever it is, it's always something dropping hints, you know, even though I'm not a fan of this guy, but even if they wanted to do Matt Riddle and Brock Lesnar or Matt Riddle and Goldberg, then yeah, have something where they are together, and they could even be together in the ring at Royal Rumble, something like that, and then something happens like that, and then this you come to WrestleMania, and something happens, and then maybe that Matt Riddle gets called up, and then he's on Raw or he's on SmackDown maybe, and then every time they come together for the big shows, the pay-per-views, they cross each other's paths. Lesnar and Matt Riddle or something like that, and it's always something, or then that leads to like the WrestleMania match. Even I'd even take that. Just give me a year-long build for something for WrestleMania 37. That's something we hadn't had in a long time. So I really want to see it. I want Chris Jericho to hold the AEW title for over a year. And I think that may be the way they are going about it. His title defense against Moxley coming up, and they haven't announced it, but I just think that's the way they're going. I think that could be that could be um, the only true contender to his title. But I want to see Chris Jericho hold the AEW championship for over a year because I think Chris Jericho can do that. Number one, because I think he has that cachet and the respect, and he has the inner circle, and you can say that is what's going to happen. That they are going to, the inner circle is going to have Chris Jericho hold the title for over a year, and in fact, it possibly could even be the fact that that's he could even hold it for 2 years because and I'm sure they're hanging on is they want to have the Chris Jericho Kenny Omega match. They want to have that as their big, match, and that's probably that is the next person who wins the championship, is Kenny Omega. But let that slide for a few months. Like even if they waited until 2021 to take the title off him, I wouldn't not be upset. I would not be upset at that. I think Chris Jericho is perfect in the position that he's in. I think the inner circle, they're doing a great job with him. Obviously Cody going back in those days of the NWA with the Horsemen and everything like that. And also let's also not take away from the fact that even though Cody has that thing on now where he can't win the championship anymore, he can't wrestle the championship anymore. There's a good possibility that they could do an angle where Chris Jericho has to be stripped of the title. They could do an injury angle where he cannot defend the title, and let's hope it's kayfabe. Let's hope he really doesn't get injured. They can do an angle like that, and everybody gets involved, including Cody, and they can put the title on Cody actually. So I even though I think Kenny Omega seems like the logically person to put it on. I definitely could. There's a possibility I can see them putting the title on Mox upcomingly, and I totally could see them doing it. Doing something where Cody Rhodes finally gets an opportunity to be the AEW champion, and so I definitely could see that as well. So the women have main evented TLC. Women two back to back several years. They've main evented Survivor Series. They've main evented the Royal Rumble. They've main evented WrestleMania. The only one that is left is SummerSlam, and I think they've got great. I think they can do a great story here, for SummerSlam. I think no matter who is the champion, I really do think that they could easily, without question, have some type of story here where it's the horsewomen versus the horsewomen, or whether it's Ronda versus Shayna, or if it's Shayna versus something. They can do something where the women main event SummerSlam. The match I would not want to see is Bayley versus Sasha Banks. I think you turned, Sasha comes back as a heel, then you turn Bayley heel. I think they need to stay heel for a little while longer before one of them, more than likely Bayley, turns back babyface. And if they do turn her back babyface, she doesn't need to be back to the babyface that she was. She needs to continue on with what she's at right now, this new streak. And what just happens is that maybe something happens where she figures out that what she was going through, she put off on the fans. And maybe what it really was just her lack of confidence in herself. And she thought that she needed to to change her attitude, to be like Sasha Banks, and to have that boss mentality. But that's not truly her. That's truly her. And maybe she's not the person that goes around and hugs people is either. She's not that, but she certainly isn't Sasha Banks. And she's not that type of person either. She has to find her way, and she's going to find her way. And one of the ways she's going to do it is taking out the person that turned her back on her, Sasha Banks, and at SummerSlam in the main event, they go at it just like in the main. Well, it wasn't the main event at Takeover Brooklyn, but it was a semi-main. But this should be the main event. Something needs to happen where the women main event SummerSlam this year. That's something that I would really like to see. It's in Boston this year. That's perfect. That's Sasha Banks' hometown. Sasha Banks is from Boston, or she's from Massachusetts or somewhere in the Boston area. That's perfect. The hometown girl comes home and main event SummerSlam. But it's not against Bayley. It's against Charlotte. It's against Becky Lynch. It's against Ronda Rousey. It's against Shayna Baszler. It's against somebody, but not Bayley. Not yet. I want them to stay for a little while longer. What I would like to see is them stay into 2021, and then maybe start the season there. Maybe in the Royal Rumble. Maybe Sasha Banks throws out Bayley, just like it was from years ago. We thought that was going to go somewhere where Sasha Banks kept doing things to Bayley, when Bayley was trusting her, and thought that was going to lead somewhere, and it didn't. It just led to a Dr. Shelby and everything like that, and it didn't go anywhere. There was that one night on Monday Night Raw where Bayley threw Sasha Banks into the steel steps, and everybody thought maybe Bayley was turning heel or something, and it led nowhere. So, but yeah, back to the main thing. The women should be main eventing SummerSlam this year. And finally, I want a true and genuine shock or surprise in professional wrestling. I want something that doesn't get spoiled by the internet. I want something that nobody would see coming, something that nobody would ever think could happen. And that doesn't mean like, and I'm not talking about like a CM Punk return to the ring. At this point, that I don't think that would happen, at least with WWE, but that's, I can still see that happening. Because CM Punk's back with WWE on the Fox show, so I can see that happen. But I would want like a true and genuine shock and surprise in wrestling. And I don't know if we can get that now because of everything. Because everybody seems to have sources and they're breaking stories and like even with like this stuff in wrestling and things like that. They're already breaking that Edge is, going to, be in the Royal Rumble. There's a possibility that he's coming back to be in the Royal Rumble. Okay, so then what is the deal, right? Then what goes on? So then you have that, and it's just. So I don't know if it ever would truly happen. A true genuine shock and surprise in wrestling, and I even don't want to even say anything because then it's still not a shock and a surprise because you can see that happening, and maybe in this day and age, and it doesn't matter that it's because of the wrestling internet and in the wrestling community or anything like that. Or maybe it's due to the fact of who we are as wrestling fans. And we are expecting something to happen, expecting it to go crossways or this and that. But so I'll just go ahead and I'll say one, right? I'll just go ahead and I'll say one, right? Would anybody be truly shocked or surprised if Cody Rhodes were to turn heel this year? I wouldn't. Because it's like, hey, he, why not? Because you wouldn't see that, right? He is loved by the AEW crowd. He is truly loved and affectionated, and he is probably the best baby face in that company. So why not turn it heel? You wouldn't see it coming, right? All the stuff with MJF and everything that could happen. If later on this year, if in November, Cody Rhodes turned on his brother, turned on Dustin, and joined the Inner Circle or joined the Dark Order, would you be surprised to see that? I wouldn't. And maybe now for those you watching this, you would say, your answer would have been, no, I couldn't see that. But now that I mentioned it, if it would have happened, you wouldn't be shocked and surprised by it. Because that fool on the internet said it. So, but yeah, I really want a true, genuine shock and surprise in the world of professional wrestling that happens this year. And so who knows? Maybe it could happen, maybe it won't happen. We'll have to wait and see. But I want that guy who's on the screen right now. I want that guy's face on something else. I want that. I want another person to have that guy's face when something happens in professional wrestling this year. All right, y'all. So those are my 10 things I wanted to see this year in 2020 in professional wrestling. Post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think of my list. Tell me any of the things you want to see in 2020 happen in the world of professional wrestling. Drop those in the comments as well. If you like what you see and you want to help me out to make sure that you get more of this content, then check out my Patreon page. And the link is in the description box down below. It is patreon.com/AJTrip. Go and sign up. You get $1 tier, a $10 tier, and a $25 tier. And if I get to 100 Patreons, I'm gonna open up my things where you can have, send me suggestions about what you want to see me do videos on, about what you want to see me talk about in my podcast, or what you want to see me play on my Twitch streams. All that would be opened up, and some other fun things as well. So make sure you go there and you sign up to be a Patreon. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. This is your boy, AJ Trip, signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.